Morning, Dave Kenworthy here. It's the 14th of the 7th, 2021. And today we're going to talk about some of the websites that we can use to look at these ancient systems. And the one that I'm looking at now is called 12 Online, and this has been designed by Wendy Krieger. And we can look at what's on this site. So we've got base arithmetic, base theory, small bases, interesting numbers, dimensions, physics discussions, systems calendars, historical measure, SI and imperial measures and ancient measures. And then there are other areas on the website. Now, this site's been designed by Wendy, and she's also helped me to design my website. And if we go here, we can see it's here called a new metrology. Now, the site has also been designed by Bogomilia Krysiak, who has designed her own site called Megalithic Trials in the Bible. Now, without these two ladies, I would never have been able to set my website up, the new metrology. And we have a site that's a discussion site, and it's this one, History of Metrology. And we all discuss these various issues on this website with other metrologists who have got similar inclinations to ours. Now, one of the discussions that I've had is about my YouTube presentations, and it's this one. When I say, hello Don, Don's asked the question, how do you arrive at 352 days in the Giza base? And this is very important because what I believe these people were doing is they were smoothing the complex lunation period to get it down to 29.333 recurring days, which is a smooth unit. And if we multiply that by 3 and divide it by 2, we get 44. So what I'm saying is, how do you arrive at 352 days? This is a key question, and I've called it smoothing the lunation period into a whole number unit being 44 days. 44 divided by 3 equals 14.66 recurring. 44 divided by 12 equals 3.666. I had this number right from the start, but did not know why. It is the reason why it is about time. Now we can look in my first book, and right at the end of the book, we've got this. The final key proposal is that the mile was developed to represent 1 day as 3.66 feet per minute, making 1440 minutes equal 5280 feet. Now that's a proposal. I'm not saying that that was right, because I didn't know why I was getting that when I wrote this book. But that's been the basis of my search. It's one of the key proposals in this book. And I've spent years trying to find out why I got 3.666 recurring feet per minute. And I had this number right from the start, but did not know why. It is the reason why it's about time. Now, when we go into metrology, we find that there's this unit called, it's been christened the long foot, and it's 1.056 feet. Now, if we multiply this, what I've called the eclipse unit, 14.666 by 864, and there are 86,400 seconds in a day, we get 12672, and if we divide that by 12, we get 1056. And this is the 864 second calculation against the inch, and 1056 is a key unit used by metrologist Harry Sivertson. And that's all I've got to say on that. We go back to the eclipse. There are 223 lunations in the Saros, and there are exactly 224.5 smooth lunations in the Saros, and this is what they were counting against. That's what I believe. The Saros is 6585.333 days, which is 8 hours, the 0.333. It must be 8 hours. And that's on the NASA website. That's what they're telling us the Saros is. They're not saying it's anything other than that. It's definitely 8 hours, 1/3 of a day. So we divide that by 223 and we get this really difficult number for a lunation period of 29.53 064275. And what I'm saying is they knew that there were 224.5 periods in this, and it's 29.333 exactly. So dividing by 2 gives 14.666, and this is the code cracked. This is the code that I set out to crack. 14.666 is the solution. It has to be whole number, and this is how they unlock the eclipse using base 11 and base 7. This is why 99 is such an important number, as you are totally aware of. 29.33 times 12 is 352. That was the question that Don asked. How do you get to 352 as the lunar eclipse year? 352 is the lunar eclipse year, and 29.53 or 6425 multiplied by 12 is 354.367713. So that's a really cranky number, isn't it? But you find so many metrologists using this because they haven't realised this smoothing has taken place by these ancient people. They were using whole numbers. They were using the number 44. They smooth the system beautifully, and 14.66 times 25 equals 366.66, the solar eclipse year, and the GP base length in units. And I've said, Tom, base 17 comes in as 17 times 366.666. Multiply that out, we get 6233.333, and base 17 is Tom's megalithic yard. And we get 1 times 352, 1 lunar year, lunar eclipse year. So that's a solar eclipse year, that's a lunar eclipse year. Multiply that by 25 over 24 and you get this. And we get 6585.33. There are other ways to get this. At the GP, you are correct about the height being 14666 meters. Now this is what Don was telling me, that he was working out that the height of the Giza Pyramid is 1466 meters. But it's not French meters, it's Berriman meters, and it's the French meter plus 0.005 imperial inches. Now, I've made a mistake there. That should say 39.375. 146.666 times 39.375 equals 5775, a balance unit of measure. I've not mentioned balance units before, but it is obvious and whole number, 5775. Now 5775 times 44 over 7, which is the ratio of the height to the base of the Giza Pyramid, gives 36300 inches, and this is 20.625 times 1760, and 20.625 is the Berriman Egyptian Royal Cubit, produced by using root 2 as 99 over 7. And this is the Berriman unit that we use to derive this 20.625. And I'm saying that this is 99%, this 20.625 is 99% of the full value of the GP base, being 36666.666, as 363 times 100 over 99. Now this is called the Riemann, this unit. So this Riemann times root 2 is the Royal Cubit, and that we know is definitely what the Egyptians were telling us. The Riemann multiplied by root 2 is the Egyptian Royal Cubit. Now we can also say that the Riemann multiplied by 176 divided by 175 gives the base 100 Riemann, which is 14.666, this eclipse unit that I'm talking about. And this is 28 units of 22 over 42, where 27 units is 10 root 2. And 10 root 2 is derived from 22 over 42, and 22 over 42 is the Berriman Egyptian Royal Cubit divided by the Berriman meter. That's the same thing. 20.625 divided by 39.375 is 22 over 42. And then I'm saying, the system is hugely complex. It's too complicated to get wrong. Berriman's got it right, I'm sure of it. But it's so difficult to explain this because it is totally, incredibly complex. And what I'm saying now is 366.666 is only a stepping stone, would you believe? And there's a full Eye of Horus solution, and I've not published this solution because it is so complicated, and yet it balances so perfectly. And I can't publish that until I get across these ideas and people start understanding what I'm talking about, because at the moment, nobody's understanding what I'm talking about. But what Berriman tells us is they combined units of length, area and volume into the GP design, and 366.666 can be reconciled when the area is the Royal Cubit squared and volume is pi cubed, using 3 versions of Egyptian and Babylonian pi. This solution is on the New Metrology website. The height of the GP is 5775 times 100 over 99, which is 5833.33 units. Well, that's actually inches. And Berriman's Egyptian foot is 11.66 recurring inches. So 500 times 11.666 is 5833 units. So the height of the Giza Pyramid, using Weiser's measurements, the height is 500 Egyptian feet. Well, why wouldn't it be? It has to be. That has to be correct. 500 times Berriman's Egyptian foot is the height of the Giza Pyramid. Now that is also 280 base 100 cubits. Again, that's got to be right. Now, what do we find when we use Berriman's Egyptian foot? How many Egyptian feet are there in the length of the Giza base? The base 100 length is 22 over 7 times by 1,000. So there are 1,000 22 over 7s in the Giza base. Now that's 1,000 pi. And they're using 44 over 7 at the Giza base. So they're using 500 in the height, not 1,000. 500 in the height. 500 times 2 pi gives 1,000 pi in the base. It's so obvious. And yet, we close our eyes to this simplicity. Because the whole system is so complex that we can always find something to say, well, that can't be right. That can't be right. That can't be right. But actually, when we read Berriman's book, I've checked over and over again his workings, and I'm finding every time he's coming up with the right answer. And this is what I'm saying. This system is based on the eclipse and the circumference of the Earth against time using astronomy and geometry. It's a practical and pragmatic system used by British farmers today. Cheers, Dave. Well, that's it for today. There's a lot to think about there. There's a lot in the websites that I've shown you. And the website that I'm using is called the New Metrology, and we're going to talk about that in the next presentation. But for now, I'd just like to say thanks to Rods and Wendy for setting my website up for me, and for all the help they've given me, and that this investigation is not just me on my own. There's a huge amount of very skilled and talented people involved in this investigation, and it's not something that can be done by one person. This investigation is huge and very, very complex, and it's going to take a long time to get this message across. So thank you for that.